Greetings, Bill here. I'm gonna try and do a video today about some honing. Any of you who have looked at any of my videos before know that I'm a practitioner of the use of convexed hones, and I'm going to give this disclaimer because there's people who don't like me and don't like what I do. If convex hones is something you do not like, please go ahead and turn this video off. Go watch something else. Go do something else, because I'm going to do this because I found some success with it. And recently I found out that the enabler of this particular method, Superior Shave, who has developed this plate which allows the use of this with an abrasive to go ahead and shape a stone in a convex shape. I didn't think there was going to be any more of that plate after that first one the first run that was made, or second run that was made. But there's a couple of hundred of them out there. There's guys that use those. People that have been very happy with it. I've seen a lot of people who are very opposed to it, but they really haven't given it a try, and that's okay. If you're sharpening your razors, if you're happy with how you've learned to sharpen your razors, and you don't want to hear what I have to say, just go ahead and turn it off. If you are somebody who has an interest in what is this thing that this guy is doing, and how has it helped him, please go ahead and watch. So I have that plate, and I went ahead and I shaped, and the couple of stones that I have here today, I'm going to do something kind of unique. And this was a gold dollar W59, I think it is, 58, 59, I'm not sure which one it was. It's like this really cool looking fancy razor. Okay, but it is really a hunk of junk and really hard to hone. And I went ahead and honed this up on convex gear successfully, so I can get it to shave. I still don't really like shaving with this, especially after I've progressed with some of the things that I have been doing, and I'm going to try and see if I can get an improvement on that. But using this this stone, I have shaped all of my synthetics into an ellipse. You can see it. There's a short radius this way. There's a longer radius this way. So what this does is it develops an ellipse, which leaves, when you hone with the razor, what it does is it leaves 2 points of contact for you to hone on. I'm bumping the camera. It leaves you 2 points of contact, one on the spine and one on the edge, and it enables you to not be so concerned with the imperfections that are inherent to so many straight razors. This is the prime example. If you lay the straight edge on this, on the honing guide, it's like an hourglass shape. So it's thicker in this area and thinner here. And it's just really, even one of the guys who specialized in taking these China razors and making them sharp so that they were pretty nice shavers and selling them, he won't even touch these. Okay. And one of the things, when I measured it, I found out that this one, I don't know if you could quite see it, but the hone guides on each side are different. And what that did is to sharpen. You can see the bevel there is quite large, and on this side it's not quite as large as it is, because you actually have dictated by where the honing guide is, you actually have a different angle on the bevel from each side. Another challenge was this had to be honed or ground by hand. There's no way that with a straight honing guide that you can easily get a smiling type razor out of it. Now you can do that, and that is a skill that you can use to do that. But I don't think they were supposed to be made that way. I think if they were made to be smiling razors, you would have had a curved honing guide, like many of them do. Okay, a lot of people like a bit of a smile in the razor. I don't know if they probably, I have a couple with a little bit of a smile. They probably do shave a little bit better, but I've shaved with razors with a little bit of a frown too, and I don't really see a problem, but maybe that's because of the roundness of my face. Anyhow, what I'm going to do is I have one hone that recently I shaped with the shorter radius this way, and I'm going to do what I have called a back bevel. Okay, and the reason I called it that was because in years back in some of my knife sharpening with a rod-guided sharpening system, I would do a compound bevel where I would do a steep or a more shallow angle initially, and then at the very end I would open it up a little bit, because you would get with a compound bevel like that, you would get a little bit greater longevity on the knife, and the thinner that would enable it to cut things such as sliced carrots a little bit easier, and I liked it. But what I would do is I would do this one first, and then I would do this one, and then I read somewhere that no, this is not the right way to do that, that I was doing it wrong, and that the best way to do that was to create the cutting edge bevel first, and then do a back bevel off of that, which you were just really leaving the initial edge in there, and then just working back from there. So they called that a back bevel, and that's kind of what I'm going to do here. That was outlined in, I think, they came up with, and there's a few guys around the world that believe in that and read this thing. It was an old textbook that was dug up in some German library somewhere about a grinder's handbook, where they actually did multiple grinds where you would establish the initial bevel, and then you would take a more rounded type object and you would cut that away, and you would actually thin the bevel. I've done that on other razors. It worked pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it on this one and see if I can get the same kind of success with a hunk of crap as I can with one that's already flexible. I know guys that have read where guys that have got these, and they said, I got a bunch of them, and they, I got a couple of them, and they aren't that hard to hone on flat things. It's like, well, you didn't get this one. I've actually saw a video where one guy supposedly got one right out of the box, and he was doing passing hanging hair tests with this thing. It's like, okay, again, this is not what I got, and this is not a thin grind. This is a pretty heavy grind, but I'm going to do that. And then after I do that, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish the edge to the edge with either probably I'll work the edge initially with the black arc, which has the longer radius this way, the shorter radius this way. Reestablish my edge. I like to, supposedly a black arc is supposed to be finer. I'm not sure if I've quite finished mine quite well enough, even though I think I did 320 grit sandpaper. I seem to get a little bit smoother edge with the 12K, but ultimately where my edges come from, and those of you have followed mine know that I use Convexed balsa strops that have abrasive pastes on those, and this is ultimately where I get what I get out of the edge. So I'm going to be using those things, and for lubricants around here on the different things I had, I have water with Dawn dishwashing liquid in there. I have ballistol. Sometimes I'll mix, sometimes with a little bit of regular spray on water. But to start off, I'm going to do on the short radius convex cauticule, I'm going to do some of that. I'm already 10 minutes in, flapping my jaw, so this will be a really, really long video if I go through it. There is another tool that I found that I bought some stuff from sharpeningsupplies.com, and I thought I'd share this. This is really, really a cool loop, okay? I think it was about 20 bucks. And it came, you could look at it and you could say, well, it doesn't look a whole lot different than any other jeweler's loop. Well, it is a little bit different, okay? Number one, they came with an extra set of batteries in there, that's always the problem with these. You leave it on, the batteries go or whatever, and the batteries are hard to find or pricey enough that you could rebuy. I got a bunch of these things that are like $5 pieces, but this has a little bit sturdier switching mechanism that I like on there. It seems to be sturdier. And the interesting thing is this has two light modes. Let's see. Okay, this is they call this the UV, and I like how the ring of lights is around the outside of it. Okay, and then the regular LED with the ring around there. So this is a new glass that I like. This is a 20 by. I might like to have I haven't looked to see if they have one of these in the 30 by, but that would really be nice. But this is another little tool that I got that I really like. And my old standby where I can look big and then look a little bit more in here. So I'll be using that. So I'm going to and what I'm probably going to do is on the opposite side, which has the smaller bevel, I'm probably going to do a lot of work on there to actually see if I can't get the bevels to actually look about equal on each side. So you know, I may do some hollowing on both of those, and then ultimately I'll finish it up, and I'll see how it does. But this is going to be, you're going to see, and this because of the high points on the ends. Okay, this is. And since I'm not working this out to the edge, I'm working back in, I'm doing a back beveling. Okay, this will be a little bit of a challenge where I need to work on balancing. Now this has a curvature this way where I can, you know, work it and rock it a little bit, and I'm gonna need to do that based on what I think I need. Okay, so probably shortly I'll be cutting out, and because I don't know how long this particular exercise is going to take me, I probably should, what I probably should do is I probably should mark this with a marker and see where I'm cutting, do the little Sharpie trick. Maybe I could show that on camera too. And it does show that I'm kind of hitting. And this is really a really wonky type of a thing, but I am hitting, I don't know if you can see, but I'm hitting well beyond to the back side of where the actual edge is. And that is going to produce the thinning that I'm after. So let me work this a little bit and then jump back in. Okay, at this point, I'm about 22 minutes into going through this, and in doing my test, I've looking under a glass up in this area here on the toe, and I had not been working quite as much. I've been working more on the heel, because that is one thing on using a particularly, I think, convex tone, is you have to particularly focus a little bit more on the heel, because as soon as you drop off, that's really with anything, any kind of an X stroke, you drop off, you know, the part that gets the least action is the heel of the razor. So you gotta watch that. Otherwise, you're gonna have some guy making a video, sitting down, and he'll show your frowning razor, and he'll say, this is because you use convex hones. No, it's not because you use convex hones, because you just didn't watch what you were doing. But on the toe of this, I got a little bit more, and looking closely under the glass, I've removed I've taken the bevel that I'm cutting almost all the way from the back edge of the bevel, almost all the way to the tip. So I've almost really redone the whole thing, and that little bit of curvature is a little bit of curvature, but it is a thinning effect, and the test will be with how it shaves. And on this particular packing test, it's I mean, it's sharp. It's sharp. It's not sharp enough for me to shave, but I'll be working I'm going to go ahead and work on this. And I'm just working this now with a little water and a little slurry that I built up to try and add to the abrasion. And then since the refinement of the edge is going to be more on the longer the longer radius stones, where I'll be reaching from the very, very back on the honing guide all the way out to the edge. What happens internally in the middle on the bevel is not that important. And what I had found is that on the abrasive strops, that kind of will polish that out. And one of the reasons, I don't remember if I said this or not, but I think one of the reasons that I'm actually taking a kind of a new interest in making a video on this is since I've been one of the early adopters of this, and I've taken my beatings from the professionals over this and the amateurs as well. Okay, but if this is something that you have an interest in, I think earlier I said that I did not think there was going to be any more of these. Okay, but it does look like Jared has ordered more of these. Okay, and I called him the Jared plate, and boy, did that raise some eyebrows calling it the Jared plate. But he is the guy who has made this technology available to people. He's gone ahead and he has ordered some more. Late January, he's expecting another delivery of this particular plate. So if it's like a little more than $100 stateside, or around $100, I don't know what it is. It's something that if you're looking to expand your horizons in your honing, try something different, to try and see if you can get an improvement by this method. That's not a big expense. The big expense comes in on the stones. Now, if you have synthetic stones such as this, where you can keep one side flat and you can put a curve on another, that's all well and good. And these, price-wise, they aren't too bad. $100 or so for the, I would get the thicker ones, or if you get the thinner ones, I would glue them to some sort of a, there's different kind of mounts you can buy, acrylic or whatever. The real kicker is going to be is if you want to convex an Arkansas stone. This is a 3x8. I bought this initially convex when Jared did that, and then he did it with his original handmade plate using the old amateur telescope lens maker's method, and he did this one. I reshaped this to that particular plate, and it took me forever. If you go out and get yourself a 3x8 Arkansas, especially a hard arc, you go to shape that, you're going to be in for a lot of work. You're going to be sitting there and you're going to be shaping that with sandpaper, and you're going to have to add an extra charge of a 60 grit silicon carbide powder to that. It's a lot of work. It is I will not kid you, it is a lot of work to get there. I'm glad I'm where I'm at, and I have had success with that. Which reminds me, I remember when I first got this and started doing that and made a video, there was some guy who went on the forum that tossed me out for talking about this. And he says, all right, you just go ahead and you send me your convexed hones, and I'll give them a try, and I'll tell you if they're any good. It's like, dude, you've already come out against this. You've already said it's no good. And then now you want me to take a rock that's like a $300 rock, okay, that I've spent hours and hours and hours shaping on a plate, and you just want me to send that to you? I mean, it's like, you know, how stupid do you really think I am? So I invited the guy to my house to come, and he could play with my stuff here. And I'm not gonna just mail something off to him. And it's like he would not. I'm glad he said no, because he wouldn't have been the first person I had to be hospitable to and cordial to that was a real jerk. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep working on this. Okay, I'm about 35 minutes into from where my timestamp started. I don't know. I've talked 10 minutes, so I probably have actually only been working for maybe 20 minutes. I'm pretty happy with what I see in the glass. It's interesting to see. I can almost see, it seems like I can almost see in the glass where I can almost pick up, maybe it's just because I know it's there that I could see it, but I can almost pick up a hollow in the bevel, which is, you know, if you look at the curvature of this, it's not hard to imagine that you would be able to pick it up visually with the accuracy of the human eye. Now, I'm not getting, I was earlier getting a better push cut with this on foam than I am now. I'm not very concerned about that, because what could have been could be that I have since completely eradicated the original bevel edge and brought my bevel to an apex from both sides with this stone. And it's not unusual because I'm not using a light pressure, I'm using a cutting pressure. I still have a slurry on here. I'm not looking to get to a finished point on this. I do believe that because I can get a slicing cut, okay, that I have, not getting too good right there. But since when I come back with the longer radius, I'm only going to be working all the way out on the edge, and I'll have a different radius, and that kind of does follow with the ancient German grinder's handbook thing that it was a guy, I think he lives in the Netherlands, nice guy, very knowledgeable guy, who had gotten that handbook, and he had actually had it interpreted into English, and for that type of thing, those that are interested in trying this, you should be really, really grateful to that guy, just like I am for being able to share that knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to wash this stone off. I don't think I put enough wear on this stone that I'll need to readjust the shape of it at this particular time. I just did not really take that much off of it. And I did feel, as I was going through, I did feel where I had a smoothness in cutting. So I'm going to do the changeover and go to the black arc. Black arc, I'm just going to dump a little bit of, a lot of guys that use this, they'll pre-mix this bevel stall with water. I just kind of put it on there and then kind of mix them in by hand. Maybe sometimes, sometimes I'll just actually use the water with Dawn dishwashing liquid. But you can kind of see that you get a milky emulsion type thing on there. It's just a lubricant that you can use. You can use whatever you want, honing oil or whatever. Okay, and since this has a longer radius and it is shorter this way, this is where I'm going to be taking advantage of the shorter curvature this way, the longer curvature this way, the longer curvature to isolate my honing area from spine to edge, and the curvature this way to isolate the hone guide on there to keep the hone guide consistent and not worrying about whether this whole hone guide is equivalent to this whole edge, because for sure on this razor they're not. Most of them they're not. For sure on this one they're not. So, and this is where I'll be attempting to see if I can start getting my first initial feel cut on the my styrofoam packing peanut test for sharpness. Now, I don't know if you can look and see, but what I'm doing with my stroke is I'm adjusting my stroke this way to work the entirety of the edge. People make fun of this too. They make fun of what they call the rolling X stroke, which I think the best place I saw that explained was in one of Lynn Abrams' honing videos. And it was an interesting thing on that. I was watching one of his videos, and I actually saw in a post that he made on the Straight Razor Place. That's not the Stolen Razor Palace. It's at the Straight Razor Place, which is his forum, where he said, where they were talking about the flatness of stones, and he said, I honed thousands of razors on stones that were mostly flat. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? Does that mean, that the guys that come on and scream, flatten your stones, flatten your stones, flatten your stones, are trying to correct the stateside master of the straight razor honing? Give me a break here. Anyhow, I'm sure he's off enjoying his retirement and hitting the golf ball. But I would always have to wonder whether if this plate and this technology had come around today, if it isn't something that he would not have indeed given some entertainment to, or trying without first saying that won't work. Because what I have found through having to move my hands and feel the sensation of the sharpening with the convex hones, I'd have to believe that a lot of, and I had a razor that he honed, and it was one of the smoothest razors that I had ever shaved with. It was certainly something that showed his skill level. I'm pretty sure that he didn't hone that with, it was a bent up Dovo. And there was some spine wear on it, which, if you sharpen a razor without putting tape on it, you're going to get spine wear. I've never been one to think to, you know, I don't have any what I would consider showcase queens. I'm kind of thinking if you do have a showcase queen, you'll just keep it in the showcase. You know, if you're worried about a little bit of spine wear, you know, it's like, you know, do I want to tape the spine of a razor? I'm not. Those that put tape on for reasons, whatever. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that for me, I'm not any more concerned, you know, over taping the spine of a razor because some preservation of some resale value. I don't buy, don't have and don't buy antique razors. I have a couple of old razors. That's not really what I'm after. You know, what I do is I buy modern manufactured shaving gear, and I use it, and I consider wear on the edge and wear on the spines as something that is equal in consequence to me driving a car and putting miles on it. It's going to wear, and it's used. If I wanted to keep it new, I wouldn't use it. I'm not saying that if that's what you want to do, that you're wrong in doing that. A pretty even edge feel now with that. Let me go ahead and take a look at it. Use my new glass. I do love this glass. I really do like it. I would like it a little bit. I would like a 30 power. And that is showing just very, very smooth. There's some scratches in there. There's no chips in there whatsoever. I'm liking that. So let me see what Mr. Packing Peanut says. Mr. Packing Peanut says it needs a little bit more right on this edge. That is one of the things that in convex honing is nice, that you can make that judgment on what needs a little bit more work. You don't, when I had tried flat honing, I was always concerned with everything being always the same all the time, and I didn't really have the grasp of having to apply a little more torque or a little bit more pressure on an area that needed a little bit of more work, which I think is probably what you should do, but I didn't really learn it until I started this way, because this is a way that forces you to apply some differential pressure to get what you need. Some movement and some differential pressure. Okay, Mr. Packing Peanut, what is your say? Mr. Packing Peanut says, keep working it a little bit. One of the things that you need to realize when you're using a convex stone is that the angle with which you approach the stone, if I angle my razor a little bit more this way, I'm actually changing the amount of hollow. I'm actually working a little bit more back into it than I would be if I was using a straight on motion. And it, like, really like anything in honing, it's going to take you a little bit of time. But I didn't, the guys who were telling me I had to hone for 10 years and hundreds of thousands of razors before I could get happy with sharpening my own razors, it was just not what I wanted to do. Okay, so here I am still working on this. Been working on it a while. I did not realize how really whacked out this thing was. I knew it was bad, but as I went through it, I found out it was even worse and worse and worse. I've gone back and forth through the different stones I had. A couple times coming back to the cauticule with the larger amount of curve on it, and then going to the arc, and then ultimately coming to the Nanowire 12K, which is convexed. Interesting thing I find with this, and I found that sometimes you can work and you get to the edge, and it's like, okay, so I've got this everywhere, but like right about here on this part of it, to where I just am not really totally happy with what I'm getting. And then as I started looking at this and looking at my bevel, I thought, let's see if we can see this. I don't know if we can see that. Got some, let's see. Okay, this is pretty wide, and I don't know if you can pick it up on there, but you can almost see, I can certainly see with a glass, between the back bevel and the main bevel, or the working bevel, I'll call it. It's maybe like halfway up into that, and let's see if we can get close enough and see maybe a third of the way on that. Okay, and it's like okay, by stepping back and forth, I can cut away, back bevel some more, and then just refine and polish the actual cutting edge, and making slow progress. But when I looked at this, let's see if we can get an illustration on this better as to just how whacked out that is. I don't know if you can see how badly goofy the geometry is on this. You can actually see how the blade kind of, let's see if my hand in here, maybe something dark. I don't think I have anything. Okay, but the blade actually is bending this way, okay, and which would explain for the large size of the bevel there versus the size of the bevel over there. But you can actually almost see how bent that is, okay? So this is a razor that you probably should never buy and throw in the trash. But I'm gonna keep working on this. I'm thinking I can get, I had it shaven. I'm thinking it's probably gonna shave better than it was at that time once I go through the strops. But I just thought I don't know why I didn't look at that a little bit sooner, but that is like really, really, you know, whacked out thing to be working on. Let's see if I get some dark behind it. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of work. I'm pretty sure I can get it to shave. Certainly, I'm happy with what I have on the edge from about this point, or you know, to the heel here. But it's just the last quarter-inch or so of the toe that I'm not really seeing what I like with the packing peanut test. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run through my pasted strops, and I'll jump back in with a little bit of footage on a couple of those to see how we go. So here we are in the Convexed honing adventures with the goofy gold dollar razor. Here is the first in the strop progression I use. This little stand here I got from Chef's Knives to Go. He still sells these. He also sells these 3x11 pieces of balsa with magnetic mounts on them. Initially, I had gotten these. I kept them flat, and then when I got the Jared plate, I shaped a couple of them and experimented with that. And I do like what I'm getting there. Okay. So all of these you kind of need to use when you're stropping. You need to use kind of a rocking motion to make sure you get contact from edge to edge. There's oh, and I ordered this week. I'll have to wait and see how it gets. I've been wanting to get a piece of kangaroo hide and mounted on a piece of balsa that's convex, and I ordered a piece of that. It should be, I don't know how long it's going to take for it to get here, but make that up. But at some point in time, I do use, I have a piece of rue that mounts on this that is flat, and that's where I found like a real like for how the finish on the edge comes off of that, and I wanted to see if I get a piece of that and get it convexed. But I'm kind of a believer in balsa strops for the simple reason that you know, I've read, you know, that in honing you should be able, if you're using like a synthetic progression, you should be setting the bevel on a 1K, and you should be able, heard people or read people say, you should be able to shave off a 1K. I don't ever want to shave off of a 1K edge. You know, I mean, it's like I can start to get this, but as I go through this progression here on any shaving piece I've got, it gets better and better and better and better and easier. And so I'm refining the edge to, in my opinion, a higher level of an ability to cut hair. So, and I thought, well, you know, if you can shave off of, if you're supposed to be able to shave off a 1K edge, why would you ever go through any progression? Why don't you, you know, if you shave off that, you should just shave off that. So, I don't know. But I'm going to go through these. I got my progression, and I do believe it follows the particle size. So I have, this is a Dovo green paste, chrome oxide. This is the Dovo red, which would be iron oxide. I'm sorry. Yeah, chrome oxide, iron oxide. The Dovo black, the Dovo red and the black are the ones that come in that combination. I think it's a Herald paste. Mine said Dovo on the package. I don't know what this particular black is. And then early on with the some of my pastes, I got diamond. So I got a 1 micron diamond, and then I got a 0.5 micron diamond. Okay. diamond is still, the jury's out for me. The real thing that I like the most is the CBN. So I have, then after that I go to a 1/2 micron CBN, 1/4 micron CBN, and a 1/10 micron CBN. And then I'm going to go to this rawhide that goes on here. And I might spend a little bit of time on a hanging strop, but I do intend to shave with this today and see how it works. Okay, so here I am at the ending segment of my honing of this really cool looking gold dollar razor. Anyhow, I'm pretty happy with the results I got. It's certainly, by my little packing peanut test anyhow, it's certainly better than it was the first time I did it, thanks to the use of the back beveling technique. I went ahead, I finished up with the last, which is the 10th micron CBN on balsa, and then I went to the rawhide strop, okay, on magnetic mount. That makes really this particular step the only step that is actually flat, although I'm going to use Lynn Abrams' terms, mostly flat. I guess it's mostly flat, but I do like what I get with the Roo. And usually nowadays I'm making videos mostly for as the method by which I publish information on the main forum that the forum that I frequent and really like, the Shaving Cadre, at theshavingcadre.com. Please look them up. Great bunch of guys, great information, a lot of fun to be there. And I don't really make YouTube videos to be any, super YouTube hero or anything like that. Although, I have made a couple that got a fair amount of traffic. The video I made on the Essence razor by Titleist was pretty popular. Got quite a few hits, and a number of people may have bought it because of that. So that was one of mine. And then my first video, which I did on the on why I like elliptically convex hones for honing my razors, was another pretty popular one, and caused a severe shortage of bipolar medications in parts of Idaho, I heard. So anyhow, I'm finished up with this. I'm going to do a shave with this. I'll probably make a video of the shave. That you'll have to either look on my YouTube channel for other stuff, including that shave video, and or go to theshavingcadre.com in the video section, or my personal journal, and you'll find that there. So I really do love this magnifier. I did get that at sharpeningsupplies.com. It's really neat, really a tool that I really do like. So that's there for you if you would like that. I certainly would like to see that at a 30 power. But that does have, one of the problems with all of them, I think I said before, was the switching mechanisms, and they seem to disconnect and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good one right there. And again, one of the reasons that I had decided to make another honing video was because I did see that that there were another, there was going to be another chance to get one of these plates. That did come from the Spear Shave. The guy down there has been a great vendor to me. He designed that plate. He took a lot of heat from it. Imagine he still does. He's got some real people that really can't stand him, hate his guts out there, because he did come up with that. But if it is, my position is that you don't have to sharpen your razors the way I do, okay? And if you're happy with whatever the method you use, I encourage you to just be happy with what you do. There's loads of people who have been totally successful with using the abrasive films on glass or marble or pieces of plastic or whatever, and there's some people, I've read places where some people have used that and that was the first thing they did and they never did anything else. If whatever method you choose, if you find, and they do call that thing the method, I think, but whatever system you use, if you're successful at it, it's great. It's great. If you're not successful at it and you struggled like I did with all of these things, and rule number 1, flatten your stones and all that kind of stuff, and to me that was a little, since and on my first video I talked about how razors aren't really perfect. They're not straight. Most of them are not. And if it's my opinion that what you should do is you should use the tools that fit to the job that you are attempting to accomplish. And if you have an imperfect subject to work on, maybe the perfection in your tools, the dimensional perfection of being flat, is not really what you want. In this method, okay, it does accommodate less than perfect razors, and a lot of people use that as real good ways to dig at the big razor makers and how they aren't they're making junk and all that kind of stuff. And that's all, it's like, this is just a little niche thing, and people that hand make objects, something that's handmade, it's if you're asking for perfection in it, you're gonna have to look around to get it. And certainly this is a handmade piece. It's a production handmade piece, but this is like far less than perfect. Okay, and part of what I wanted to do was to show that if this gear can accommodate and can make a piece this bad shave well, and I do believe it'll shave well, with the exception of maybe that last quarter of an inch or 3/16 of an inch. I'll see when I shave with it, okay? But I usually don't shave that far out on the tip anyhow, especially when it's got one of those stabby points, which I did. And maybe some of the problem is that I worked off some of the stabby point a little bit at one time, or the geometry of this part of the razor. It's just it's a very difficult thing to do. I'm glad that I was able to do that. I'm glad I've got the gear to be able to do that, and it does help me to be better with my shave pieces that do not have the inherent problems that this one has. Okay, and there, I've read where some people with gold dollars, and that's the other style of gold dollar, the regular normal ones, said, well, you buy 10 and you got to throw a couple of them out. It's like, so every gold dollar that I bought, I have sharpened, okay? Except for the ones I haven't sharpened yet. But I haven't had, if there was one that I was going to turn out and throw away, the cool looking razor as it is, this would have been the one that I would toss out. And I don't know that this one will ever be anything more than a honing project for me, because I've got so many other stuff that I like to shave with. So anyhow, Bill M at theshavingcadre.com. That's where you find me. So you all take care. Be well.